Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the FV3805. It's the Tier 9 British SPG, located on the north spawn of Serene Coast. This one is under the command of CL1CKER. Game on. Well, we had some good news this afternoon because the Salty Jedi website is up and running. If you don't know what the Salty Jedi website is, it's a recording site for the replays where you can actually list them and download the files for each and every battle that's uploaded to it. And unfortunately, the Salty Jedi one has been down for about a week or more, and that's made it difficult for us to get the replays so we can actually do the videos. We've been relying on the What Replay site, and this video here is on the What Replays, and you can see a difference between the various headers at the end with the result because they've got different ones for different sites. We prefer to use Salty Jedi mainly down to the fact that it gets extra information that you don't get on What Replays, and so a lot of people do send their Arty replays to that site instead. Okay, Object 274 rounds out right next door to him, 224 hit points, but he got damage assist of 466, so somebody big hit the 274, and he's lost virtually all of his hit points, or at least half of it. Okay, the piece that he's actually firing is the 7.2-inch howitzer, 182.9mm, 850 alpha, 46mm of pen, and a 9.5 meters burst radius. Rounds out? Not yet. Rounds out now. 274. Oh, wow! He hit the Type 63, which was well to the south, or not to the south, to the east of that bunch. When you've got four tanks together, you try to hit the middle tanks so that the other ones on the outside get hit as well. But the Type 63 took the full force of that one for 394, and we got some stun assist afterwards. Standard reload is 35.47 seconds. He's got 28.56. Rounds out. Hits the Peregrine in the back. 207 hit points, but it stuns the 274 and the Peregrine. Now he's having a quick look over this side of the map, but he hasn't necessarily turned. Now he has, because he's decided he does want to stop this Tiger Mouse, and he's leaving the enemy and the other side to be dealt with by our team. Okay, Tiger Mouse, he's aiming behind him, and unfortunately we just lost one of our teammates, the E75TS. We're now going for the T30. Rounds out. Direct hit for 359. Now we still do have teammates over there who can stop those guys. Okay, going back to the previous bunch. Type T832 and the Type 63 look to be the biggest threat. Of course, the 832 is the Terminator tank. The version of the T32 tank, which has actually got the Terminator markings on it. Now, which one is he going to go for? He's going for the Peregrine. He lands the shell behind the Peregrine, gets 132 of splash and some stun. Now, of course, you will probably know the FV3805 originally was going to have a 5.5-inch gun, not the ones that they've actually suggested in the Wargaming wiki. They've given it a 5.5 as the stock, and he splashes the 832, a 6-inch as the middle gun, and then the 7.2-inch as the top gun. So 3 different guns for the FV3805. Okay, it's another one gone. That was the Progetto going down. Oh, we're 2 tanks behind the enemy at the moment. This is not looking good. This is looking decidedly ungood, but he's almost loaded. Rounds out. Okay, he allows for the 832 backing up, but he still gets the direct hit for 345. He's just having a quick check elsewhere. You can actually look elsewhere, so long as you hold down the control key, and then you can use your right mouse button to actually look elsewhere by putting the cursor over the minimap, and so long as you don't actually release the control key, you can see what's going on without the Arty swiveling to actually face the new target. So it means that you can keep your gun aimed at the old target And then if you decide you don't want to go ahead with that shot in a different direction, he's firing again, gets another hit on the 832. If you decide you don't want to go ahead, and then you could just release the your control key, and the vehicle will just go straight back to the what you were aiming at before. At least I think you have the point is you have to actually look back at the old target again so that it doesn't then swivel the vehicle. Oh, that was a clinical execution of the SU-130 PM. He had somebody behind him, somebody in front of him, and in fact in the end it was the UDA-16 that got the kill shot. We're still 2 behind, so the enemy's still ahead, but oh, that was a good one. He hit the Barras for 350 there. It was only a splash, but the thing is, Barras has got very thin armor, so if you do get a shot on the Barras, you should take it. Now, we've only got one teammate left on this corner at the moment, the T103. There is a Foch nearby as well. He's trying to fire at these guys, and we're trying to get a shot on the Tiger Mouse. We're not loaded yet, but we are now. Rounds out straight away. Direct hit on the Tiger Mouse for 362, and we got stun assist. The mouse went down. The mouse was killed in the end by the Foch, sitting out on that little peninsula around the corner. Only a short distance away in D0. He shot across the gap and got the Tiger Mouse in the rear or the side. We've now got a T30. He's just taken a big hit as well. Now, can we get the hill on this T30? Rounds out. Another hit. Only 231. Wasn't enough to kill the T30, but it was very close. In fact, now things are starting to go in our favor. Even though we're only 2 tanks down, we're still 2 tanks down, but it is looking in our favor now because the enemy was really pushing on 2 fronts, and now they're only pushing on 1 at the moment. Well, you can see a couple of tanks coming up the middle now. They're trying to open another second front. T-32. Oh, he got him this time. He splashed him to death, and in fact, he caught the rear of the vehicle, which means, of course, that he got the weak armor on the rear of the 832, and that's what took him down. So at last, CL1CKER does have a kill in this game, but he's accumulated a massive amount of damage. 3,288 of actual damage, 1,641 stun assists. Okay, we found the 53 TP, but unfortunately, because the buildings, they're getting in the way, we can't get a direct shot on the 53 TP. We'd hit something else before the shell hit the target. Now, going back to the FV3805, it's an Arty. They did build 2 prototypes in 1957, but it never went ahead. In actual fact, there was a meeting by NATO to decide which calibers they were going to use. Oh, can he get the kill? Yes, he does! He gets the 53 TP. The NATO meeting was to decide the calibers that NATO would use from there on in, and they decided, yes, they wanted to use the 105mm and a 155mm, and that's why all NATO Arty have those calibers. Luckily, now the score is 11-11. So there's no difference, but now the difference is in our favor. The enemy has beaten themselves to death trying to get to our cap and failed, and now they're at a disadvantage. They've only got their Arty, the C30, and he goes down as well. So that's 3 kills now for CL1CKER, and he's happy with the Foch for that, and the Foch is happy as well. Now there's only 1 Arty and 1 tank destroyer, the Striv 1030, the tier 9. This was a tier 9 game with tier 8 tanks in it. The Arty is the 212A on the enemy team. He also has 3 kills, so it should be noted that he is actually quite a good player. Now we switch back to stun, the HE shells. Notice how fluidly CL1CKER switches between the shells just to get the right effect. He'll actually do that to either to switch to an HE shell with the extra effect to get a direct hit on the enemy, or he switches back to the HE with stun if he can get his teammates to shoot at the enemy and pick up some stun assist off them. Got a tree fall in there. That might be somebody hiding behind it in an ambush. That's right at the edge, the south edge of the map. It's getting close to where the Foch is. The Foch is approaching. Now, you might not see him, but if he is in that spot and he can see where CL1CKER is aiming, and no, he doesn't appear to be there because he went within 50 meters and it didn't go off. So the UDIS 14.5 is capping, and the Striv might be waiting for the cap to get to 50 or 70 cap points so he can actually get an interrupt and get a defender medal. Rounds out in the 2-1-2. Direct hit and a huge one, 416. That's technically a non-penetrating shot, but the thing is that he did virtually all of the hit points the 2-1-2A had. He is now one shot, but the Striv is actually at our end of the map, and CL1CKER was, for a moment, it looks like he was exposed, but he can see the Striv and he's going for the kill shot. Rounds out, got a direct hit. Now, I think the game's going to cap out before we get a chance to kill that Striv. And that's it. The game's over. We've won. Here's the end of battle results. And that was a first-class tanker game for CL1CKER in the FV3805. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. Got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle. And he also got a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team and making good use of those shells. As soon as he was loaded, he was putting something downrange to hit as many enemy tanks as he could. And that's partially thanks to the fact that this tank does actually have a lot of ammo, 48 rounds, so it can never really run out. I should actually point out that I failed to do so during the commentary, was that they didn't go ahead with the this particular Arty in the end, mainly because it was designed to carry either a 5.5 inch or a 6 inch or a 7.2 inch. In fact, actually, I think they meant to put a 5 inch in it. And that was 139.7 millimeters caliber. And of course, as I said in the NATO meeting, they decided they'd go with 105 millimeter or 155 millimeter. And there were already other Artys of those calibers. So they really didn't need to redesign the Arty. They could actually go ahead with that caliber and base all of their artillery on those particular howitzers. Anyway, going back to the details, let's have a look at the team score. Well, we can see that CL1CKER did have the highest damage in the game in that one. No high caliber, so not 20% of the enemy hit pool, but he managed to get 4,419 hit points of damage out of the game, with the next highest scorer being the Type 63 on the enemy team with 2,942. So he's way over the top of that guy. And the second highest damage was, in fact, the UDIS 14.05 with 2,622. And the third highest, well, that was the T30. Was it T30? No, actually, that's the fourth highest, actually, I should say, with 2,375 on the T30. When it came to base XP, kills, we can see that it's shared because CL1CKER managed to get 3. So did the 212A on the enemy team, so he was good. The T832 rather, also got 3 kills. And then there's a bunch of tanks with 2 kills apiece. The AMX Foch, the UDIS 14.05, and the Progetto got 2 kills apiece. And only one tank on the enemy team managed to get 2 kills, and that was the Panzerkampfwagen Tiger Mouse in the game. When it came to base XP, let's close that, we can see that the highest was, in fact, CL1CKER with 1,056. He's the only player to get over 1,000 base. 962 went to the UDIS 14.05, the capper, who did cap out. He did get an invader medal, by the way. The other tank that was down there at the time, the Foch, actually went out and killed the 212A to make certain that we ended with as many kills as we could. And when it came to the the UDIS got 962, and the third highest was the T103 with 903. He fired 16 rounds in the game, 11 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations at all though in that game. But I suppose that's because it was tier 9, tier 8. which meant that it was difficult for the shells to get through. Even though they've got decent penetration of 46mm, that's still strong enough to actually stop the shell getting through. If he'd hit the Barask, it might have been a penetrating shot, because that's fairly thin armor, because it's basically light tank armor. But on this occasion, he splashed the Barask. He didn't get a penetrating shot. 20 splashes, 4,419 total damage, of which 4,011 were at more than 300 meters. The difference being the enemy strip 1030, who was very close at the time, but he turned around. He was going the opposite way when he got hit by CL1CKER. So he couldn't then directly turn around and go back in the opposite direction. In fact, he was probably risking another shot taking him out, and decided to hide instead. He damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 3, so that's a reasonable difference, a 7 difference to get the Confederate. 1,641 hit points of stun assist off 17 stuns, so 17 of the shots actually stunned, and he actually fired 16, so it means he stunned some tanks more than once with each shot, or two tanks at a time, or 3 tanks at a time. He actually earned a profit from this game, 47,005 credits. And that's with the personal reserve bonus. Of course, it was holiday ops as well. And he also picked up 1,584 experience points out of this one as well. So a decent game. And it was actually played on the 13th December. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.